There's not a fighter pilot around that doesn't want to strafe a boat.
Yeah. You are not wrong. That's the story about that, but you are not wrong.
1,000 rounds of 20 Mike, 20 millimeter. And my second pass in there, so we average about 200 rounds, which is quite a few.
Yep.
The second pass, I kind of hit the engine room. It feels like kawoom, big explosion goes up and everything else. And my wingy was so excited. He was a young lieutenant. He said, "Oh man, Lee, you hit it, you hit it." But anyway, and the RF4 guys, there's a little bit of a carnival thing. I'm making light of it, but it wasn't light. Now, the thing that I thought about later was that we didn't know where in the heck those American servicemen were. What if they would have been on that goddamn gunboat?
That's one of
Would
those
have run
you just don't know. And I mean, I watch it now because I did Operation Inherent Resolve, and it was a
right.
really busy time. And the Jocko podcast, I was just listening to that. He actually just had one as one of these Yazidi women they're interviewing, and they're talking about being captive and the bombs falling on civilians and things like that. That you just don't know. And we were bombing checkpoints for a long period of time, or several weeks, right? Because ISIS is real big with
Right.
checkpoints. And that was all over the media. Well, they quickly figured that out, right? And they started putting prisoners up at checkpoints. So we no longer bomb checkpoints. But you do have to wonder, and you don't necessarily know, like the enemy always gets a vote and they're always going to try to be deceptive and they're always going to try to control the narrative, especially in today's world. But that's one of those things that you just, it plays in the back of your mind. I don't know. That aspect didn't play in my mind when I was, I think, actively engaged in the beginning, but it's something you think about afterwards.
Right. Well, if anybody's interested, I'll give you a link to a book too that was that I read that really shed some light on it. But anyway, so it was pretty shallow there. The gunboat, we sunk it, and they brought an AC-130 in after us, put some 105 howitzer shells on it, and really did some damage to it. Okay, so that was, I think, right around the 14th, if I'm not correct. So we're out of there early the next morning, and it was confusing. What's this mission going to be? You had a question. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, so you're flying these sorties. Do you have a tanker that you're getting gas from, or you guys
All the time.
just how long are you hanging out on station for this?
I'm just guess 3 to 4 hours.
Okay, I
Now,
imagine continuous coverage too. You guys are ripping out with other fighters, and it's continuous coverage on this boat.
yeah, not too many initially, not too many. They had RF4s taking pictures, and they had a Navy P3 down there,
Okay,
and but not initially. Now, okay, the high point was the 15th and the decision making. That's why you need to read the book if you're interested in it. It goes back and how these decisions were made and everything else. So the decision was made. We get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, whenever we're briefing. We're down there as the sun rising, and I'm leading a three ship, and there's airplanes everywhere. There's F4s. I think there's 111s around. There are the Navy. They moved a carrier in there. It's hitting the mainland of Cambodia, and we're going to land Marines on Koh Tang Island. And there was a beach there. You'd have to look at the map and see. We call it the slingshot because it looked like a slingshot. And here's what haunts me, Rain. It haunts me to this day because nobody knew what the hell was going on. AB Triple C, everybody's quiet. And I remember looking over the canopy rail and seeing kaboom. And then shortly thereafter, another explosion. I'm saying, man, the Navy's hammering the beach down there. Well, it wasn't the Navy. It was, I saw three helicopters get shot down in about 5 minutes, killed a bunch of Marines. So now all hell's breaking loose. Are the survivors of the Mayaguez, are the crew members on that island? Now, we worked with some of the PJs, and there were some Jolly Greens involved in this thing. And, they'd be keying their mic, they're running for their lives and saying, Sandy, Sandy, we're taking fire, we're taking fire. You could hear the bullets or the guns and everything else. And I mean, what the hell do you do? There's no FAC involved. But anyway, I could go on and on about that. But now, wouldn't you know it? Here's the bad mistake, but who knows? It's the random aspect of it. The crew of the Mayaguez was released about an hour before we stormed the beach at Koh Tang Island. And they're in a Thai fishing boat headed back to their ship. And the intel was so bad, we didn't get it.
Gosh, who was
So,
normally, at least I think nowadays, that type of mission, you would have a mission commander. So it'd be you, right? You would own the overall package, but
right.
technology, if you're at the same base, everyone can brief it together. But most likely in those operations, you're not. So you're gonna be doing some kind of secure, teleconference, VTC. So it sounds like you guys, everyone's just kind of showing up. But I imagine,
Was. To a certain degree, it was.
and then when these helicopters get shot down, what happened then? Is anyone talking about that or trying to figure out where that's coming from, or like who's honcho in this effort?
Well, AB Triple C is the one that actually is supposed to be honcho in it. But here's what haunts me, if I had the guy, I'm a relatively young guy with not that much experience. I should have, looking back on, I should have said to something like AB Triple C, Cricket's their call sign, Cricket, what the hell's going on here? Are we going to land? Are those helicopters, where are they going to land at? Because there's two areas they could have, because we got some ground fire from that area they put in, and there was about, I don't know, you get the different figures, 150 to 200 Khmer Rouge guys in there just waiting until those helicopters went into a cover, and then they opened up on them. So, but fast forwarding here, not spending too much time on it, there was a guy named Bob Undorf, I believe, OV-10 driver out of NKP, that came down in the afternoon, because now what had happened, we went from an offensive land mission to a rescue mission. Now we got to get these Marines off the island because we got the crew members back. And he was trained, he knew what the hell to do, and he took command, and he got, by nightfall, really after nightfall, he got all the Marines out. Now, here's the sad thing, if you want to read the books, and I've got some, Ralph Wetterhahn wrote a pretty good book called The Last Battle of Vietnam. But anyway, here's the bottom line. We left three guys there. Three Marines were left. And it's a sad, sad state, I'll tell you.
Those are the last three names that are on the Vietnam.
Yes, sir, they are.